Jeff Fowler is literally the only person in cinematic history to break the video game movie curse not once, not twice, but 3 times. Take notes, Paul. I gotta say, guys, it felt good to watch a movie that I actually enjoyed in the theater because I've been dealing with some mediocre to really bad crap lately. And I would just like to know in the comments down below, what did you think about the movies coming out this year? I know we got a couple more on the horizon still, but what would you say are your favorite films of the year, your least favorite films of the year? Comment down below, have at it, let everyone know what you thought was the best and worst of the year, but please be respectful about it while you're in the comments. Just a movie, after all, not the most important thing in the world. And while you're down there, you might as well just like this video if you like this review, and subscribe if you want more videos like this in your feed. And if you're feeling up to it, you can follow me on other social media platforms. Links are in the description for my Instagram, Letterboxd, Serialized, and GG. But with that, let's get back to the review. This film is insanely fun on all fronts. If you enjoyed the first 2 Sonic movies and you're a fan of the games, you like this kind of style that they're going with, this will only further your enjoyment. The cast all around is great. You got a lot of the returning players coming back again with the addition of Keanu Reeves, which is just perfect casting for the character of Shadow the Hedgehog. A couple years back when they teased Shadow in the post-credits scene for Sonic 2, I remember the next day after seeing that movie in the theater, someone posted a picture of Shadow the Hedgehog and Keanu Reeves and said, okay, hear me out. And right from that moment, I was like, please let that be reality. Please let that happen. There were rumors that Hayden Christensen was going to be taking the role for a while, but then it was confirmed that Keanu Reeves was in fact playing Shadow the Hedgehog. Hayden would have been cool, but I think Keanu fits it very, very well as well. Also, if you're a Jim Carrey fan and you're into his comedic style and his antics, you get a lot of that in this film. In fact, you get double of that because he's playing 2 characters in the movie. I don't know, I found it amusing. I like Jim Carrey. I love all of his movies. I love his comedic style. And I think he plays the character of Dr. Robotnik very, very well. He's got more meta commentary packed into his jokes than ever. And call me a simpleton, but I find him funny. I mean, at one point he says something about hate watching Green Lantern in 2011, and that made me laugh pretty hard. I don't think anyone else got that. I did. And naturally, we gotta have a dance sequence because for whatever reason, that's what this character does now. Also, I gotta say the narrative in this one feels a lot darker and like it has a lot more emotional weight. I mean, Shadow's origin, for one, just has a lot more of the grim reality attached to it. And that was really interesting because I feel like while these Sonic films have had some charm and a little bit of heart packed into them, we haven't really had this dark edge that this film seemed to have. I mean, yeah, it's still a film geared for kids, families, whatever, and there's still a lot of that childhood innocence, but there's just a lot more internal conflict between some of these characters, especially with Sonic. We get this really interesting dynamic between him, and now he's working with a team, and now how Shadow plays into that. It was really fascinating to see, and it was different because we hadn't really seen that side of the character in the previous films. But getting back to Shadow's origin, I feel like it was really interesting because we actually delved in a lot more. That's something they didn't really do with Knuckles. He was just kind of like this dumb drone that was really powerful, and you know, he was the bad guy for a bit before he switched sides. But with Shadow, we have a lot of explanation as to what made him what he is now. Apparently a lot of Sonic fans really hate Maria. I don't know why. I don't know what it is in the games that made the players hate her or anything. I suppose I could look it up, but if I'm basing it just off this movie, I thought it was done pretty well. I didn't have a problem with it. And I really don't know why so many people hate this character. But speaking of Shadow, he is just insanely cool. I mean, I thought it was really sick how they brought in Knuckles in the second film and how they made him a powerhouse, but Shadow is even more so. I mean, how he's basically teleporting back and forth. He's got these rocket boots. He's got his gun. He's got his motorcycle. He uses them for one scene and then never again. It's okay though. There's so many action scenes that are just so much fun to watch because you got Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and Shadow just zipping around with all the lightning and light coming off of them and everything. It's just a ton of fun to watch and a visual feast for the eyes. Also, this movie moves pretty quickly. Now, it is like about 10 minutes shy of being 2 hours long, which is at least shorter than the second film, but it is longer than the first movie. However, I think the pacing is pretty even and balances everything really nicely, so it doesn't feel like anything's dragging, and every moment does feel earned. Now, of course, the question is, we got 3 of these movies. Is this the best one? How does it hold up to the others? I think this is the best Sonic film, honestly. When I'm looking at it compared to the first 2, and to the Knuckles show that we just don't need to talk about because that was freaking terrible. These first two movies, I think, focus a lot on the human aspect, and the human characters are my least favorite part of this movie. When I'm watching Sonic, I'm watching it for the characters of Sonic and Tails and all the characters I know from the games. I don't know Tom from the games, and heck is his wife's name? I'm not even going to remember it. You know, in the first movie, we got this fish out of water story where Sonic comes to Earth, basically, and so he's the only game character we have aside from Robotnik, but Robotnik hasn't been fully developed to his prime form until that post-credits scene, and then by the second film, we got a lot more of the game accuracy and a lot more of the poppy, campy stuff that we're used to, but we still have a lot attached to these human characters and a whole wedding subplot that really didn't need to be there at all. But in this film, the main central focus is Team Sonic, Robotnik, and Shadow. Tom and the humans and all that, they're just kind of in the background. They are supporting characters that pop up when relevant, and that is where they belong. They have past their point of relevance because we don't need to establish this world anymore. We just need to show Sonic exploring it and being a character, and that's what this film is, and that's why I think it is the best Sonic movie, because it is giving us more of a Sonic aspect or Sonic focus in the Sonic story, not all the other people inside of it. Overall, this is a great time. I think if you love the Sonic movies, you're going to enjoy this one a great deal. I can't imagine this one winning you over if you hate these movies, and I can't imagine this one completely disappointing you if you love these movies. And maybe I'm being a little biased because I had so much fun with it, and because comparatively I've been seeing some mediocre to lame movies lately. But yeah, I don't have any qualms about giving this one a 9 out of 10. So those are my thoughts on Sonic 3. Please let me know what your thoughts are on it below. And if you want to support the channel, you can do everything that I just mentioned at the beginning of this video. But until next time, guys, God be with you. Take care.